Hello students, human body and organ system. Under this lesson, we seen this all, that is the function of heart, working of heart, respiratory system, heart, capillaries, blood vessels, and yesterday we seen that plasma and blood cells information. Now today we will see the function of blood. As we know that the blood is what? It is a fluid substance. WBCs are there, RBCs are present. From this only we are understanding that the blood carries the oxygenated blood because RBCs are there present in the blood. WBCs means they are working as a soldier. It is given here. Means and platelets are also present. Means they are work. Means these things are there. From that we are getting the idea of what will be the function of blood. So here first of all transport of gases. As we know that for the living organisms need oxygen for their existence. So oxygen is carried with. So this oxygen is there. It is carried whenever we are taking it from our respiratory system. Inside we are taking oxygen in our body. Okay. So this oxygen is carried via blood from lungs to cell and various part of the body, and carbon dioxide, which is the waste product from which is produced in the process of oxygenation oxidation of a food, that carbon dioxide is bringing back towards the lung to throw it outside the body. Means oxygen that we are taking in our body by the process of respiration is what happens. Process of respiration, it is transported towards each and every part of our body, and carbon dioxide which is produced there, it is collected towards the lung for to throw it outside the body. Second, transport of nutrients. Simple nutrients, like which are the simple nutrients? Glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, taken up the body from wall of the alimentary canal. Okay, so alimentary canals has a what their function means they absorb the material, means glucose, amino acid, fatty acids from the food, and what happens, this is transported up to each cell in the body. This absorbed material from the food is what happens, it is transported towards the each cell of the body for the further process. Next, it is the transport of waste material. As you know that so many processes are going on in our body, and in that processes some waste material is produced. So which is that waste material? Nitrogenous waste is there, ammonia is there, urea, keratin, uh, keratin are released in the tissue blood into blood, which carries those to kidney for excretion. Okay, this is produced in the body. Okay, which is ammonia, urea and creatinine. These are produced in the body, and that we have to throw it outside the body because it is the harmful to the body, and that transport of this waste material is takes who is the in that the blood plays a very important role. Next, it is the protection. As I told you, blood has a WBCs and they are working as a which soldiers in our body. So protection is also one of the role function of the blood. Antibodies are produced in the blood and they are protect the body from microbes. Okay, antibodies are produced, means any uh, what we are saying, any foreign material will come in a body, then blood fights, you knows that, and same way the antibodies are there, they fight with the bacteria are produced in the blood, and they protect the body from the microbes and other harmful particles. Okay, next is the transport of enzymes and the hormones. We know that in our body so many enzymes and hormones are produced, and these are what happens, produced at a particular place or particular gland, and from that gland growth hormone it is there. Then if you go in the next classes, you will get the prothrombin, you will get the idea of different hormones and the enzymes, and they are what happens produced in a particular gland, and from there it is what happens uh, taking towards all parts of our body. Blood transport enzymes and hormones from the site of their production to the site of the action. It is carried via Next is the thermoregulation. Thermoregulation, that is temperature regulation. Body temperature, as you know that we are the warm blooded animal and we need a particular temperature in our body, then only we can live. So here body temperature is maintained constant, that is 37 degrees Celsius, by vasodilation and the vasoconstriction. Okay, by these two processes the body temperature is what? Maintained. Next, maintaining the balance in the minerals like sodium, potassium in the body. And eighth one, that is the, if bleeding occurs in the at the injury, if when you are getting, sometimes we are getting accident, sometimes we get the hurt, and what happens, the blood is what happens, oozes out from the body, and at that time that bleeding is occurs, the platelets and the protein, what happens, fibrinogen, blood from the clot, at that place the blood get clots, and what happens, seal the injury, that part get sealed, and what happens, the flow of blood stops from that place. Next part is the human blood groups. In our human being inside, there are four types of blood groups are there: A, B, AB and O. Okay, now here human blood groups, depending upon the proteins like antigen and antibodies, different blood groups are formed. Because of whom? Antigen and antibodies, the blood groups are formed. There are four main types of groups of human blood, which are those: A, B, AB and O. Okay, then besides there are two types of RHs are there: A, that is negative, and the RH negative and RH positive. So A positive, A negative, B positive, B negative, AB positive, AB negative, and O positive, O negative. In that way the blood groups are present. So thus in all 8 blood groups are formed. Okay, for example, A RH positive, A RH negative means A positive negative, just now I told you. B positive, B negative, AB positive, AB negative, and O positive, O negative. These are the blood groups. Okay, now next point is the blood donation. Blood donation is very important. Why? Because the if a person meets an accident, bleeding occurs through the wounds. Okay, if it get accident, then what happens, the bleeding occurs through these wounds, and many times blood transfusion, there are some diseases inside it, what happens, the blood transfusion is necessary, and it is necessary during the surgical operation inside also. Similarly, blood transfusion in case of patients of which these diseases are there: anemia, thalassemia, cancer too. In these type of diseases, the blood from the patient's body we have to transfuse or change. So blood transfusion is carried out by the compensate the blood shortage in the body. Okay, and this is called as a blood transfusion. Means there is if less blood is there in the body, blood flows out in the process of accident. In this process, the blood is required for the required that patient, and at that time what happens, blood transfusion is takes place or is necessary. So here as we know that there is a blood is produced in our body only, and that blood is necessary for if the patient, and at that time if you donate the blood, you can save the person's life. So from where the blood supplied for blood transfusion? Okay, from where, what is the question? From where the blood is supplied for blood transfusion? For this blood transfusion, where blood comes? The blood banks are there, and in this some donors are there, blood donors are there. They donate the blood, and that blood is using if such a conditions like some diseases, otherwise accidents will happen. Then what happens? This blood is using. Blood is collected. You know that blood camps are there, and from there the blood is collected. Blood is collected in the blood bank by specific method. It has a specific method, and from the healthy person and supplied to the needful person. The blood is collected from the healthy person and it is supplied to the needful person. If the collected blood is not to be used immediately, okay, then what happens? It can be stored for some days in the refrigerator. That blood we can store in the refrigerator for some days, okay, and from there the blood, the peoples, they are getting. Next, it is the blood donor. Person who donates the blood is referred as blood donor. The person who is donating blood, he is called as a blood donor. And blood recipient means person who is taking the blood. Person who receives the blood is referred as a recipient. Okay. Next, it is these are the definitions of blood donor and blood recipient. Recipient. Person of blood group O. Okay. There is one blood group, that is blood group O, can donate the blood to the person having any other blood group. Okay, so person who have the O blood group, he can donate the blood to the other, all the what people, means A, for A blood group, B blood group or AB blood group. That O person, O blood group is there, he can donate blood to these peoples. Okay, and the person with AB blood group, okay, if person's blood group is AB, he can, means he can receive blood from A also, blood from B also, and blood from O blood group also. Okay, and that's why the person having the blood group O is called as a universal donor, and person whose blood group is the AB, he is called as a universal receiver. So here it is given universal recipient. So here it is given the person of the blood group O can donate the blood to the person having any other blood group. Okay, whereas person with blood group AB can receive the blood from the person with any other blood group. Hence, person's blood group O is called as a universal donor, and person with blood group AB is called as universal recipient. Okay, that is about the blood donor, about the blood donation, blood transfusion, blood bank, blood donor, and blood recipient. Okay, now the next point is there here given. Blood groups are hereditary and depends upon genes. What they told you, the blood groups are, they are hereditary. Okay, from mother or from father, from our any one from our family. Okay, on it the blood group is depend, and it also depends upon the gene inherited from the parents. Okay, the blood transfusion is performed only after the blood group is matching. If the blood group matches, then only the blood we can transfusion takes place. If we are giving the different blood group, okay, it is not matching to it, then the person may die. Then if it is done without matching, it may prove the fatal for the patient. Fatal, it becomes dangerous, it becomes, means the person may die when we are doing such a type of a blood transfusion. Next is the person who donates the blood may be recipient in the future. Okay, person who donates, now who is donating, he is also facing some problems in future also, and he may be the recipient in the future. Blood donation without any acceptation. Blood donation without any acceptation is always life saving. It is life saving. Blood is required in various situations. Which are those situations? Accidents, bleeding, parturition, surgical operations. Inside, the blood is necessary for the necessary to the patient, etc. Blood donated by the healthy person is used to save the life of needful person. Okay, that donated blood is there, it is used to save the life of other peoples, or those are in the problem like accident, bleeding, parturition, surgical operations are there, or they have some diseases like diseases which are given here above. Which are those diseases? That is anemia, thalassemia, cancer. In these diseases inside also the blood transfusion is necessary, and it is given to this needful person. Hence, the blood donation is considered as a best donation. So, the blood donation is the best donation. So, we have to donate our blood to the what? When there are blood donation camps are there, by by this we can save the life of a needful persons. Okay, so today we stop here only. The next part of the lesson we will see in our next lecture. Okay, thank you. All of you just read this process and write down this blood groups information, short note on the human blood group. Okay, so today we will stop here only. Okay, thank you and have a good day.